Better shake your booties for black girl nerds. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds.
Hey, welcome to the live version of the Black Girl Nerds podcast. My name is Jamie and I'm here with Ryan. Hey, Ryan.
Hello, everybody.
Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. May the 4th be with you. We're really excited to talk about all things Star Wars on this very, very special day. It's so much fun on May 4th when I just see everybody on social media posting up pictures of whether it's times that they've celebrated Star Wars or they've been to recently the parks over at Disney World or Disneyland at Galaxy's Edge. And you know, who doesn't love Star Wars? So
seriously, come on now.
And this is the best time to be a geek and a nerd about the Star Wars universe because there's just so many things that is coming at us because of the streaming service through Disney Plus. There's new movies that are coming out, which we will talk about. And, you know, there's celebrations and events that have recently happened where we got a lot of those news, and we'll talk about that. But first, before we get started, just a couple of things that we always ask all of our viewers to do. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. You know, we are on YouTube. So if you happen to be watching this, there you go. There's the subscribe button. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, subscribe to us there. And we're live streaming this right now, so you can engage with us. Feel free to do so if you're a Star Wars geek and nerd. Let us know how you celebrated. Yeah, let us know how you celebrated Star Wars Day. You can do that live via Facebook, via Twitter. No, not Twitter. Can't do it via Twitter.
Come on, Twitter.
I know, and I don't think Twitter's going to allow it anytime soon, given the dumpster fire that app has been over the last few years, to be quite frank, even before Elon came on. But you can use YouTube as well as Twitch to engage with us, and you know, whether you want to ask questions, whether you want to leave comments, and let us know about how much you love Star Wars or what you're looking forward to. Even if there's things you want to criticize about Star Wars, hey, there's things that, you know, we've had some questions about. So we're open to all of those discussions. We would love for you to engage with us here. By the way, Ryan, how did you spend your May the 4th?
Unfortunately, I had to work, and it was not at the park, at the Star Wars park where I wanted to be. And like in Disney World or whatever, or Disneyland as well. But yeah, you know, I got my little, like, I'm trying to represent right now. You got the Mandalorian shirt on, got my mug ready. So, you know, trying to get into the spirit right now. Hey, look at
Hey.
So cute. So cute.
I think it says, don't make me use the Force.
I love it. So this is how, you know, so basically just, you know, I was being a fan while I had to work, but now it's like really time to fan out and dive into it. You guys let us know what you've been doing. There's been some stuff going on, so May the 4th be with you. What films are you checking out? Did you go back and try to chronologically watch all like the old school Star Wars films? You know, some people have traditions for the day because they're such Star Wars fans. So let us know how you dived into that and went into that. So yeah. Did you do anything, Jamie?
I did. So today was the release of Star Wars Visions and Young Jedi Adventures. So I watched a few episodes of each of those shows since they made their debut. I didn't watch every episode. They're very short episodes, especially Visions. But I did watch them. So we'll talk about those shows because those are premiering today. So that was my way of kind of celebrating it. And then, you know, work stuff as well. Nothing special. I made sure to, you know, post on social. I posted on my Facebook my personal experience with Star Wars going to the last couple of celebrations, which has been an honor and a privilege. So yeah, it's been a really cool day, and it's just so cool again, you know, to see other people on social media celebrating Star Wars and just being a complete geek about this universe, because it's great. Like I said, it's a good time. It's
I
absolutely
like to
a good time.
also add though, speaking of like the parks and people out having a good time, I've been seeing people post apparently Hyperspace Mountain is back up and going in Disneyland, and that's going to go through June 4th. So if you guys are big into roller coasters like Jamie was talking about, if you want to kind of celebrate that, maybe you're already doing that, so let us know. I've been on Space Mountain, but I haven't been on Hyperspace, so that sounds pretty cool. So go out and check that out if you're at the park. So,
nice. Yeah. And I've been on Galaxy's Edge. Hopefully, if you guys are in the chat and you want to share your experience, please do. But the Rise of the Resistance ride at Galaxy's Edge is so much fun. I've been on that ride like at least 6 times, which probably isn't a lot for some people. Some people love being on the rides like at least 10 times. But I absolutely love Rise of the Resistance. So if you have not been at that ride or on that ride at Disney World or Disneyland, please check that out. It's a great experience, especially if you're a Star Wars fan.
Ooh,
so yeah, absolutely.
And then, go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
If you like to stay on the ground, apparently, if you go to StarWars.com, they have some discounts going on games. Jamie, she's got her gaming gear out. She told you guys a couple times, so she's getting ready to go on Twitch. Getting to go. You see the little cute cat ears I love that are like the little neon blinking lights. So hopefully, maybe we can convince her to get into some Star Wars games eventually on Twitch, and you guys hop over there.
Yes. So I don't have any Star Wars games downloaded yet. I have a few games.
Yeah.
Like about 40 games downloaded right now.
Ooh, okay.
And I've been playing mostly fighting games. So one of my favorite, it's an older fighting game, but still it's one of my favorites from back in the day. I've been playing Tekken 7. So I'm trying to really master Tekken 7 before I get on Twitch, because I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yep.
And then I've been playing like the really old school, because look, I'm a girl of a certain age. I ain't gonna try to front and act like, I'm not gonna try to be like a gamer out here and play some of the new stuff that y'all young kids play and try to master it. So I'm gonna play what I know.
Okay.
So I've been downloading like these old school games from like the late 90s.
Yeah.
So Streets of Rage 2 was my jam back in the day. Final Fight. These are both like Capcom games. And then of course like Street Fighter, I've been playing that as well. So anyway, I know we're sort of deviating. We're going on topic.
We need to know about Jamie's whereabouts, where she is with these games, okay? Because you guys need to be ready to subscribe, to watch, to see what's going down when she gets ready. So we like the segue. We appreciate it. But what I was going to say though, I have no idea. Like, I'm not even going to get technical about these games. But if you go right now, they're doing giveaways, they're doing discounts on StarWars.com for different games, different platforms. So go check it out, see what you can find out. Of course, it's a limited time because you know how it goes. So yeah, get in there quick and see what they got going on for you guys. Some PC games and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's as far as my game knowledge goes.
But yeah, I definitely want to download some Star Wars. I don't even know what the name of the Star Wars game is that's out, that I think recently came out.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody in the chat, feel free to help. But
let us know. Help us out.
I definitely plan on playing that. So all right, where do we begin with talking about Star Wars? I mean, obviously there's a lot of stuff that's come out of Celebration. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna read the comment. Sotoa, still at work now, but sporting my Return of the Jedi lightsaber. Nice. The ladies checking me out. Dude hating. That's right. I'm the cool guy. Stop laughing. Love to see it. Love to see it. I wish we could see a photo of you with it.
Yeah. Send us a photo if you can. We don't want you to get in trouble at work, but like send us a photo if you can of like this lightsaber. We don't want you to get in trouble, but if you can hook us up with the photo, but yeah. So
you could add us at Black Girl Nerds or at BGM Podcast, either or. So yeah, there's just been a lot of good stuff that's come out, and if you have not followed the Black Girl Nerds website, we have a lot of information,
Yep.
some exclusive information too, from Star Wars Celebration in London, which I attended, and it was really an amazing experience. Really grateful that I had the opportunity to go out there, and we learned a lot of new stuff that is coming down the pipeline. Also, before we even get into that, I do want to say, if you have not subscribed to our podcast, so we have our audio only podcast,
Yep.
where you can listen to it on iTunes, Spotify, I think iHeart, Google Play Music, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to that, because on Monday is when we upload every brand new episode. We have someone that is on The Mandalorian that is going to be our guest on the next episode. So stay tuned for that. I am not going to share who that is. You have to subscribe.
Gotta subscribe
and find out. But it is a actor from The Mandalorian that will be a guest on our next episode. So, and they've also been in some other. They've been in another really big movie that came out this year too. So there's a little clue there. Got a clue there.
Jamie and her teases.
There's the tease. So
should we talk some about Mandalorian though? Since she just gave us that tease.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Mandalorian ended season 3.
Yep.
What did you think? Because I know you're a big Mandalorian fan, right?
Oh yeah, I've said this many times on like multiple platforms for BGN. Mandalorian is the reason I became a Star Wars fan. So I'm late to the party. It was the reason for me, because I could never.
Wow.
I tried so hard. Yeah, I tried so hard for somebody to lay out like, hey, this film goes before this film. You watch this before that. My dad tried. Everybody failed. I could not get it together as far as like diving into Star Wars until Mandalorian. And I guess maybe it was Grogu. Maybe he was just so cute that I couldn't help resist. That I had to know like more, and I had to kind of follow him through the story. But of course, Pedro Pascal, we love him. Whatever he does, he had that mannerism too. I feel like they picked the perfect person to kind of like front this and be the star and kind of take this where it goes. But yeah, if it hadn't been for Mandalorian, I probably would not be into Star Wars to this day.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so I love season 3. Season 3 had its moments. Like I remember seeing a lot of people on social media talk about it, kind of have like a slow pull, because this was that season. I won't give too much away in case that's what you're going to do with your May the 4th day, is to kind of check out Mandalorian and catch up on the season on Disney Plus, by the way. But yeah, it had a kind of slow burn at times, because they were really trying to build like the background. They were trying to bring a lot of characters that they didn't really focus on before. So it might have had a little kind of a slow pull for people than the especially like the first season. The first season was just like bam, bam, bam. That really what pulled everybody in as far as like action and everything like that. But and I think it was the I don't think I'm gonna pronounce them right. I think it was the N Kellen. They're like the little small creatures with the little mustache and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept kind of going after Grogu, and like he kept trying to squeeze them, and they would always be like, "Hey, baby, no squeeze." I was dying. That pulled me in this whole season just to see like those little characters today, because we all know Grogu got to eat something. That was the other thing. I'm a big foodie, and Grogu eats everything. So I think that's another thing that I kind of like related and it pulled me into. But Jamie, what did you think of Mandalorian season 3?
I loved it. I mean, there was some. I agree with you that the pacing was a little bit slow at times, and I know that they were doing some story building, but I do kind of wish that the pacing matched what we got in season 1, as well as bits and pieces of season 2, because season 2 even had a little bit of those issues.
Yep.
But I did enjoy it. I noticed that season 3 had the most mixed reviews from fans. It felt, in fact, very divided. Like basically kind of half and half. Half of the fans loved it, and half of the fans didn't. And I kind of understand, because Din Djarin was kind of like a passenger in his own story. And I didn't have a problem with that, because I get the sense that his character eventually is that arc is going to come to an end. I don't know if it's going to come to an end in another season of The Mandalorian, or if that's going to happen in the film version where Dave
Mhm.
Filoni, which we'll talk about that more,
Yeah.
Dave Filoni is going to helm the films where all of these Mandalorian and Disney Plus shows are sort of going to be tied together. So I don't know if it's going to happen then, but either way, I understand why people kind of had those mixed feelings, but it didn't bother me because I really love Bo-Katan, and I think she's absolutely amazing, and I just love the arc that she went from season 1 to now. So I didn't have any issues, even like the little moments where people were getting in their feelings, seeing these like pop culture moments that happened in the show, which I actually asked Jon Favreau about at Star Wars Celebration regarding the appearance of Lizzo and Jack Black.
Yeah.
And kind of like there was a little bit of backlash going on, and you know, he was like that is never intentional, having these pop culture moments, that's just something that's organic that we just bring to the story. So yeah, I think I love it. I absolutely think it's endearing to see those moments. And also season 1 had like a ton of cameos. Nobody got in their feelings about that, but all of a sudden Lizzo shows up and people are getting in their feelings. So I don't know, there's something about Lizzo that she gets under people's skin, and I wonder why. But yeah, I absolutely enjoyed this. And also I loved Grogu. I mean, I guess spoiler alert. If you haven't seen,
I'll pause real quick and come back if you haven't seen it. Go ahead, Jamie. Here's spoiler alert.
I just absolutely love seeing Grogu like save the day. It was just the most adorable moment, and it was a full circle moment for his story arc. You know, like being this little seedling to being a teenager and growing up and you know, understanding how to cultivate and use the Force and being stronger and using the Force. So I absolutely adored the way they created that story arc for Grogu. And yeah, I really didn't have any issues with the Mandalorian. Like you said, Ryan, the pacing was a little slower than I would have liked.
Right, yeah.
But I still thought it was a good season.
Ooh, before we get off, we have to show this picture. Did you guys see Pedro Pascal at the Met Gala? I thought it was such a cool, fun look for him and him mixing it up. There he is. So there you guys go.
Yeah, I mean, so by the way, I run the Twitter. Well, Angelica and I both run the Black Girl Nerds Twitter account. But during the Met Gala, I was posting all of the images from the Met Gala and kind of live tweeting it. So I did make some commentary about the different looks, and Pedro Pascal in particular. I like the first look that I don't know if he changed 2 looks or somebody just put that up there. But anyways, he had a look with a tan suit on, which we didn't get that photo.
Okay.
Tan suit, it kind of reminded me of Obama's tan suit that he got like a whole bunch of backlash for.
Okay.
That looked great. This look, I wasn't feeling it. I think you can't see it because the photo's kind of cut off, but he's wearing he's wearing like these Bermuda shorts with this trench coat. And it's the Bermuda shorts for me that I'm just like, I'm not feeling that. I can't. It's like half of an outfit. So I love Pedro. I stan him. He can do no wrong in my eyes. But well, in this case, he kind of you know, nobody's perfect. All right, nobody's perfect. So
they were like, leave out the Bermuda shorts next time, Pedro. But we loved it. You know.
That's Red Imperial Guard style. Yeah. There you go. Oh, maybe that's his next role in the Star Wars universe, since you know, I don't know. We'll see where Mando goes.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh is here. Josh, I don't see your camera on, so just FYI. Once you turn your camera on, I'll bring you into the stream.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. Pedro was there, and it was all the rage. And there we go.
Hey, there he is.
Hey.
I'm trying to be legal here.
I see.
He is mobile.
Yeah. So y'all know I'm West Coast, and in Cali we don't respect any other time zone except the West Coast. And I did not realize that the 7 p.m. in the email was East Coast time.
Oh man, no, we got you, Josh.
So it's fine. Like, I'm not looking at y'all, but I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't
Be very safe with driving, please. So Mandalorian, we love. I just wanted to show this photo. We love the relationship with Mando and Grogu. They're amazing. It's one of the best father-son relationships on television, and Pedro just does it brilliantly. I mean, somehow he's just able to be the best dad, and we've seen that with his other role on The Last of Us. So he just daddy, we love him. We stand him.
Oh my God.
We stand daddy.
Josh, don't do that, Josh. You know.
I do know. Every female friend I have is on that same exact tip. So I'm just like, okay, all right, guys. All right.
I mean, we have stanned this guy since Oberyn Martell and Game of Thrones. So this is not anything new for us female fans, just, to be 100. But it's like, it's been amplified to the next level after Game of Thrones. Then he does Mandalorian. Then he does The Last of Us. It's like, well, hasn't he been cast in something recently that is like kind of a big deal? I forgot what it was. I forgot what it was. But anyway, so keep it up, Pedro. You're killing it right now. Just don't get into any kind of scandal, please. Please don't do that.
To us, Pedro.
Don't do it. Do not. Stay off of social. Well, he actually got off of social media, so that was a good thing, because I think he kind of got a little bit in trouble on social media during season 1 of The Mandalorian, and then he shut that thing down. Yeah, he shut it down. So okay.
Apparently he's in talks for the Gladiator sequel. That's the only thing I can.
That's right. Yes. So his stand.
You said Gladiator?
Yes. I knew it was something big. So.
It's a wrap for everyone's lady parts.
I'm telling you. And the fellas out there too. The fellas love it as well. I'm just saying.
This is true. As soon as that first post Gladiator workout shirtless pic is gonna break the entire internet. We're gonna be done.
For sure. Yeah, we're done.
So Josh, since you're here, we were talking about our opinions on season 3 of The Mandalorian. What did you think of the season overall?
I thought it was their strongest season, for sure. I think just in terms, so like, I wasn't really a fan of season 2. Season 1, I thought was okay, but I just kind of wanted to be populated with more. Like, it just felt like it was a lot of empty spaces in season 1, but the story was like coherent. But season 3, I felt like was the best. Like, they kind of kept it moving. I think if there's any complaint, it was that he was like a side character in his own show, which seems to be kind of like the hallmark of the show. But like everything with Bo-Katan, like I can't remember the actress, Sackhoff, she can move. Like, I love when people in action roles can actually do action. And she can fight. So yeah, I liked most of it. Some of it like didn't make sense, like the like the baptism thing and like the mask thing, where they're like, oh, you come in, you got to keep your helmet on. You know what? Next episode, change your mind. Turns out you're the answer to the future. So go ahead and take that helmet off again. I was like, what? Wait, okay. But again, I feel like most of it was, was really good. And, Esposito, you can throw him in pretty much anything. And that man's going to deliver his whole soul on your behalf. Yeah, that final scene, I know it was the money shot, and God bless whoever came up with it, but where he's just standing and then the flames come, I was like, oh, yes, that was it.
I love that. I was like, Grogu saves the day. That was just like such a full circle moment for his character and the show overall, I felt. So I loved it. Yeah.
Some people are like, maybe Grogu will show up in Rey's movie, because technically he would be like old enough to be like more functional. So I was like, that would be interesting if they go that direction with it. So,
He's a fan favorite, so it wouldn't shock me that they would try to milk milk the merchandising of Grogu and the character's fame and notoriety into the film universe. So yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. And by the way, with Giancarlo, he did a Jedi mind trick on me in the interview that I did with him, because he made me think that, like, is his character a character that we should root for? And I can't even believe I asked that question, because he was making it seem like his character isn't really a villain. Because I was saying, like, Moff Gideon, he's a bad guy. He's like, is he a bad guy? I was like, yeah, he's a bad guy. So, like, very clever.
Yeah, he got you. He got you.
Yeah, you played that one up pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So we Mandalorian, obviously very successful. We look forward to the next season, and I don't think we have an announcement on that one yet that I'm aware of.
No, I don't think so.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, we haven't. They didn't announce that at Star Wars Celebration, because there was just so many other things that they were announcing. So let's talk about that. Another show that we're very familiar with in the Star Wars universe is Andor, but it's kind of bittersweet because the next season we get, which is season 2, is the last season.
I haven't even seen the first season yet. Come on.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh, well, you got to watch Andor. What do you think of Andor, Josh?
So I may lose credit with the fans here. So I have not watched Andor yet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, here's the thing. Because when Andor dropped, there was so much upheaval happening in Star Wars. I was like, I don't know. This feels kind of like it might be like a cash grab, and like I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to like watch it and be upset, so I didn't. However, I can say every single person in my friends group has been like, "Yo, Andor is the Star Wars you've been looking for. Like, this is, if you don't watch nothing else, watch this. Like, this is the real stuff." Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, okay." So it's on my summer watch list for that reason.
Yep.
Josh, Ryan, I need you guys to get your lives together and watch Andor. It's a really good show. It's obviously, if you watched Rogue One and you enjoyed that, then you're definitely going to like Andor. And just the performances. I mean, this is like a star-studded cast, and I absolutely enjoyed it. I'm a little sad that it's going to end. So I remember at Star Wars Celebration, the showrunner, which his name I'm getting a blank on right now, but he said that he's very satisfied with the show's ending.
Tony Gilroy, right?
Tony Gilroy, thank you. He said he's very satisfied with the show's ending. So, I mean, he's the showrunner, so why would he not say that? But it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out, and maybe sometimes shows having a limited run is not always a bad thing, because then I think about The Walking Dead. And we don't want a show to go so long that the show has just lost its way. So let it be season 2 and end on a high note with the fans loving it and appreciating it. And I'm excited for what we get to see with season 2 of Andor. And let's show the wonderful cast here that was over there at Star Wars Celebration. A little sad I didn't get to talk to Andy Serkis. He walked right past me. But yeah, they're great. They're great. There's a great scene. I won't give away too much, but Andy Serkis is like a prison warden, and there's a prison scene with and it's a very different kind of prison. It's the cleanest prison you will ever see. The most sanitized prison ever. But anyways, he shows up then, and he's just absolutely remarkable. I mean, he's remarkable in everything that he's in. But yeah,
when that speech happened.
What's that?
I said, is that the scene you're just talking about? Is that when he's the one that gives that speech, right? Because I remember there was a speech that went out, and like everyone was talking about it on social media.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And we won't go further than that. Yep. So there's Andor. And then we've got some new shows that are coming out, which we're excited about. Before we get into that, though, today is the release of 2 brand new shows on Star Wars Day. So if you want to celebrate Star Wars, fire up your Disney Plus app and check out Star Wars Visions, which is out, and that's season 2. And then the Young Jedi Adventures.
Oh, aren't they cute? Look at him.
He's so, yeah, I like, that's Kai that's there in the middle. He is so adorable, and I just love his hair. Like, I just really love the texture that the time that they spent and the effort of giving the Black characters some texture to their hair. So things like that I noticed. But have any of you guys seen any of the new animated shows that dropped today yet?
No, I've been at work all day, but I'm literally headed home to after this, to watch Star Wars Visions. I watched the first season, and Star Wars Vision season 2 is the thing I was most excited to see. It was so great.
You're gonna love it. I haven't seen all the episodes, but I did watch the first 2, and the very first episode. Gosh, I forgot what the name of the episode was already. This is the way my brain works. I forget a lot. Something with the word Sith in it.
Oh, is that the one that's English and Spanish?
No, but it could be in Spanish if it's dubbed. If you watch it,
it's just called a Sith. It's just a Sith.
But it's a Spanish animated studio, I think, that is behind that episode.
Okay.
But yeah. So Lola is the main character, and I just love the animation. The animation is gorgeous, and it's sort of like this watercolor paint sort of aesthetic going on. And she even uses the Force using these watercolor paint brush strokes throughout the episode. It's really, really incredible to watch and witness. And then episode 2 is also really fantastic. So, not to go through all of them, because obviously I want you guys to see it. But Star Wars Visions is just amazing. And I was blown away. It's more something that is kind of like in my lane. I watched Young Jedi Adventures. I watched like the first few episodes of that. It's cute. I feel like it's for a younger audience though. So like if you've got kids, they're going to love it, which is good because, we want to get the kids to also appreciate and love all things Star Wars as well. So I think that that's a good reference point for them, is to introduce them into Young Jedi Adventures. But it was just a little too young for me personally. So Nanto the Enigma says, greetings everyone. May the 4th be with you. Thank you for joining us.
May the 4th be with you.
With you as well. Thank you for joining us. Cool beans. So yeah,
the only animated thing I've seen is Tales of the Jedi. So I got a long watch list to go.
Tales of the Jedi is good. Really good. Oh, go ahead, Josh. Yeah, I just love the origin stories that you get out of Tales of the Jedi. And then we get to see Ahsoka as a baby. She's so cute. And a baby Ahsoka. Speaking of Ahsoka, why don't we bring her up? Hey. So that was huge. That was huge news that came out of Star Wars Celebration. Was we got an actual date of when the show will come out, which is August of 2023. And we got Samuel here to join us. Hey, welcome.
What's going on, y'all?
Hey. May the 4th be with you today. So yes, we have Ahsoka's new show, which I'm so happy for Rosario Dawson. She's going to nail this show. I mean, she already has nailed the character. We've seen her in The Mandalorian. We absolutely loved it. But you know, now we're going to see her like in mini episodes, and it's centered around her. Tons of screen time. What do you guys think about Ahsoka? Like, what are your perceptions of what you got of seeing her on The Mandalorian, and what are your expectations of this new series?
Samuel, I say you go first because you came in with the lightsaber.
Yeah, I might as well. Yeah, no. Seeing her show up in The Mandalorian was literally fan art come to life. I think it was who was it? I can't remember who was that did it, but they made like a concept of Rosario Dawson as the character. She loved it. She pitched it, and they made her the actual character, and she crushed it in The Mandalorian. But I didn't know enough context about the character because I never looked at Clone Wars, the CG version. I'm gonna go back to that eventually. But she plays a pivotal role, from what I understand, looking at Tales of the Jedi, as Anakin's apprentice. And just that backstory alone, from what they presented, I cannot wait. It's gonna make me have to go back over Clone Wars and Rebels, but nonetheless, just as long as the tone is somewhere similar to Mandalorian or even higher than that, I'm all the way in for it. Like I'm excited. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Ryan? What was your perception when you first saw Rosario in The Mandalorian?
Oh, I lost it. I thought it was the coolest thing, and I like how she got to do the reveal of we all were going like Baby Yoda until we found out his real name because she was the only one that could communicate with him. So yeah, I loved her in that, and just she does action so well, and I feel like she doesn't always get her props. So I love that she is at the forefront of this, and I hope everybody supports it and watches it a ton, so we get more seasons, so we get more. So every time a person of color comes into the Star Wars universe, some stuff always gotta go down. So I'm like, the more it's supported and it goes in and people go hard for it, I hope it'll show up more. But yeah, she even like, shameless plug. Jamie, you did an article for Black Girl Nerds that had her side by side, and she even looks like the character. Like she fits so well into this role of how she fits in. So I can't wait. I'm so excited, and you could just see her like some of the interviews coming out, and she's like a kid in a candy store, talking about like how she was on set and the stuff that she gets to do. So I think it's gonna be phenomenal. I think I'm ready for her to finally get her flowers.
Absolutely. And I mean, before I go to Josh, I don't think this is going to be a situation where, in previous Star Wars castings, because unfortunately, let's keep it 100, the Star Wars fandom, or a faction of the Star Wars fandom, has been pretty toxic towards actors of color. But I don't think we're going to get that with Ahsoka, because the fans actually have asked for Rosario to be in this role. So it's a little bit different here. I think she's, obviously going to be welcomed with open arms. People have fan casted her for so long as this character. As a matter of fact, which I did mention in the article that I wrote on Black Girl Nerds about this, she did an interview with us years ago for Zombieland, and she had mentioned wanting to play Ahsoka. So this is just something that she's always wanted to do. And the fans talking about it and visualizing that for her, this is something that I just feel like she's been destined to play. And she mentioned at Star Wars Celebration that it felt like a visual, like it felt like dreams, that she had dreams as she was, playing different scenes throughout the production. And I just thought that was amazing, that, this is something that just felt so familiar to her, because she's been imagining this for so long, for so many years. So it's going to fit like a glove for her. And I think fans, if they loved Ahsoka in Clone Wars, in Rebels, in Tales of the Jedi, they're going to feel the same way with the live action series. And also, she was very well received in those episodes of The Mandalorian. So yeah, I feel like it's a no-brainer that this show is going to be successful. Yep. But yeah, Josh, what are your thoughts?
Can you guys hear me, or is the car noise, background noise, too loud?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. No, when she showed up in The Mandalorian, I was a fan. I think just because of how they recreated that lightsaber release thing, like when she takes out the white sabers. And like it just looks cool. It's a great callback. And Ahsoka, I was saying this. I have seen Clone Wars and Rebels just ad nauseum. And Ahsoka is a character entirely made in like the style of the original film, which is like about fear. And we meet Skywalker, he feels a certain way, and then at the end of Return of the Jedi, he feels a different way, like to us. It's like, oh, okay, he's grown up, he's wearing darker clothes, it's a feel. Mm-hmm. And we got that with Ahsoka through the animated series. She's bright and spunky and like reckless, and she kind of keeps her bright and spunkiness, matures and grows up, and then the moment where it's the whole I think it's the wrong Jedi. When that whole story arc happens, you see her really stepping into her own as Anakin's apprentice and like just putting everything she learned from Anakin and Obi-Wan to use. And then she comes back and we experience her again. I feel like Rosario captured exactly where she's at on her journey. Like her tone, the pace of her diction, like all of it. Like, yo, I've been around and I've seen things and I've done things. And I don't even really feel pressed to explain all that to you. Just know that I'm here and I'm going to do what I do. And you can feel at ease about it. It really gets that. And so, yeah, I think my favorite part of the trailer, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff, is that I could tell she has been practicing fighting. And that is really important to me, especially because she's such an acrobatic character. Her movement. And, Mando, I think it was a little different just because of how Favreau wanted to focus on, like, traditional, slow-paced, samurai fighting, which is fine. That's his own thing. But flips, and I could tell that she had been practicing. I was like, okay, this is the Star Wars.
He froze. There you go.
Yeah, you're starting to cut out a little bit there, Josh. But we got most of what you said, so appreciate that. So I want to get to a comment from Nanto the Enigma, and I'd love for you to expand on this comment because I'm a little confused. You say they're going to lose it when it comes to Grand Admiral Thrawn, a person of color that's discriminated, written off, and not taken seriously, only to become one of the most dangerous characters. Now, you're not talking about the actor, right? Because the actor is played by Lars Mikkelsen, who's not a person of color. Now, Grand Admiral Thrawn is a person of color, but he's blue. So I just want to know what you mean by that comment. So feel free to elaborate on that so we can understand what that means. Because Lars Mikkelsen voiced the character, and then he's going to be playing the live action role in the series. Soto says, I can see Ahsoka and Grogu starting a new Jedi Order. Ooh. Oh, okay. Oh, Grogu. Okay. Oh, the character, not the actor. Okay. I'll let you guys, because you guys probably are a little bit more familiar. Has Grand Admiral Thrawn been, because I'm not that familiar with him, because I haven't seen all of the Clone Wars and Rebels show episodes. So has he been a character that's been discriminated against because of his blueness?
I'm sorry. I'm in the same boat as Jamie. I haven't seen it at all. I've just heard nothing but praise about how good of a villain Thrawn is. But I mean, I assumed when they made that comment that there had to have been some kind of like issue with like his rank, possibly. I mean, I don't know what Palpatine looked at him as, but I mean, maybe Josh can speak towards it. I don't know. He's blue as far as I know. I don't
right.
know.
Yeah, no. So never. The internet's a funny place. So no, so Thrawn is known as the Chiss. They're all blue. However, Thrawn has always been more tactical. So the Chiss, their whole species is like, yo, it's typical political things. Like, we do things how we do things. And Thrawn's like, yeah, but there's stuff out there that could like mess up what we got going on over here. And he was so tactical that he went against them and he like manipulated. And so he like got himself kicked out that way. But then through not the rewrite, but like when Timothy Zahn picked back up writing Thrawn, he kind of he went back to the beginning of his origin and showed how like Thrawn used getting kicked out of his own people's group to become endeared to the Empire, who he was concerned about, in order to have better intel to help his people out back where he got kicked out of, because that was his mission the whole time. So that was why he got kicked out. It had nothing to do with skin or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. And from what I understand, and I can't wait to learn more about him as we get closer to Ahsoka, that Grand Admiral Thrawn is kind of more like an anti-hero, that he's very strategic in his methods and his ways. And even though he is an antagonist, he doesn't really have villainous intentions. Is that a fair characterization of Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Yeah. My man he's all tactics and strategy, and like whatever is or what he's trying to do is what he'll do. But yeah, he's not like a Palpatine who's just like blatantly malicious. He's just like, yo, there's stuff out there. I feel responsible to take care of these people, and so this is what I'll do. But yeah, Thrawn's a bad boy. He studies the art of cultures to understand the mindset of the people, so that when he can go in and do his thing, he's like, oh, I knew you guys were going to make this, and this move, because when you paint your portraits, the wavy lines go like this, and that symbolizes this, and that ties into how you guys do your sculptures. Like, his mind is on. Yeah, Thrawn's a bad boy.
Yeah.
I got to see this. That's serious.
Nanto says Thrawn was discriminated, worked his way up in the Empire, told the Emperor no many times. And Soto says he's very calculated. Yes, that's what I hear, that he's very calculated and strategic. And Nanto says you would rather have him as an ally than an enemy. Yeah, I can't wait. I really can't wait. Yeah, people were going wild at Celebration when they saw Grand Admiral Thrawn in the little sizzle reel trailer for Ahsoka. They're like, oh my god! So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. So, well, cool beans. Any other final thoughts on Ahsoka before we move on? Oh, here's some other early images. Thanks for loading this, Ryan. This is just early concept art of Ahsoka. I believe this is from Dave Filoni's early concept art that he worked on. Oh, wow. So that was at Star Wars Celebration.
So I did have a question about Ahsoka, because I do know a little bit about Ezra is the main character of Rebels. And I'm wondering, did they cast Ezra for Ahsoka? Like, was that revealed at all at Celebration, or is that going to be a cornerstone of this story? Because from what I was told from somebody else, that is going to be leading into Ahsoka, which is why they said you have to go back and watch Rebels. I'm just curious, is he even cast? Is he going to be a pivotal role? What do you guys know? Because I actually avoided the trailer because I didn't want to spoil myself. I got to look through both series first.
You said Ezra?
Yeah, I don't think Ezra's been cast.
Ezra as in Ezra Miller?
No, Ezra Bridger, the Star Wars character Ezra Bridger.
I think.
Oh, what? Okay.
I'm saying Amon Esfandi. I don't know if that's
the voice.
Really? I gotta look that up.
Yeah, that's what I see on Google. Yeah, I think it's for the show, but I'm not sure. That's what I'm seeing on Google. So they might have. So yeah, let me know if I'm wrong or not. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Question. That's a good question. Yeah, I'm stumped on that one.
Yeah. I don't know if he got cast. He was like the pivotal, like the ending point of Rebels. It's like, oh, we got to go find Ezra. But I don't know how much that's going to tie into the Ahsoka show. They obviously also showed, oh man, I'm blanking. The purple guy, voiced by Steve Blum. I am drawing a blank. Darn.
In Rebels as well?
Yeah. It's the purple dude. I just cannot remember his name for the life of me at this moment.
Is it Zeb?
Yeah, Zeb. There it is.
Yeah, because
showed him as well. So it's like, okay, they're clearly doing something with like the Ghost crew. So we'll see. And I know they did cast the pilot as well. So I think it'll tie into Rebels more than likely.
So I'm have to rewatch it then. Got it. That's all good. I'll watch it.
Yeah, and I need to watch it. Period. Like I've watched part of Clone Wars and I haven't watched Rebels yet. I'm really bad with animation. Like live action, I'm good. It's something that is, near and dear to me. But animation, I don't know why. It's just, it's a tough road for me. But I really love Visions, so I don't know. Maybe that's the exception to my animation rule. And I love Tales of the Jedi. That was good. So. But I will get into obviously Clone Wars and Rebels as we get prepped for Ahsoka, because a lot of her backstory is right in those shows. Yeah. All right. So then we got some new shows. Also, there's a new show called The Acolyte, which this is exciting. Leslie Headland is the showrunner. It's part of the Star Wars franchise, set at the end of the High Republic, before Star Wars, the Star Wars movies began. So we've got some amazing cast members here: Amanda Stenberg, Jodie Turner-Smith. How do I pronounce his name? Lee Zhang-Jae. Yeah, who we know from Squid Game, and Charlie Barnett, who we've talked to here at Black Girl Nerd. So great cast here, and I'm excited for this. This is going to be something different. What do you guys think about The Acolyte?
I mean, the name alone, I'm like, I need to find out more.
I know it's very vague.
Yeah, like the way they put the names of some of these shows, just to like that to me alone gets pulled in. But I don't. There's not like a teaser or anything they released yet, like a trailer or anything, is it?
Nah.
No.
They're still. I believe they're still filming, if I'm not mistaken. But even at Star Wars Celebration, they were really tight-lipped about giving information. Jodie Turner-Smith is Force sensitive. She did tell me that. Charlie Barnett is a young Jedi. Amanda Stenberg is also a Jedi.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And the other guy, oh gosh, what's his name?
Lee Jung-jae?
No, the other young guy, gosh, I feel like I've got to pull up the name of the cast members.
Is it the guy from Game of Thrones?
Was he in Game of Thrones?
Yeah, he was the king that killed himself.
Dean Charles Chapman. Yeah. He's also a Jedi.
Oh wow.
Also, she's not pictured here, but Carrie-Anne Moss is in it, and she's a Jedi.
Oh yeah.
At Lee Jung-jae. Gosh, why am I saying his name all jacked up? My apologies. Yeah, I said it right. Lee Jung-jae. He's a Jedi Master.
Okay.
He's a Jedi Master.
Okay.
So yeah, we're getting little bits and pieces.
That's interesting.
Soto says never heard of them until Star Wars Celebration. Yeah, I feel like this is they've got a blank canvas and they're just painting it for us with this new show.
So I don't know why I thought The Acolyte was going to be about Seth. Like, I don't know why. Maybe it was the name. It didn't leave me an impression this was going to be centered around Jedi, which is interesting. I'm for it. It's just, I think the more curious thing for me is, when does this take place within the timeline? Like,
Oh,
is
it
this...
takes place before the Star Wars films. So it takes,
cool.
yeah. So it's at the end of the High Republic era.
Oh, snap.
And from what I was told by the showrunner, it's supposed to be a mix of like Kill Bill. And someone said a mix of Kill Bill and Frozen. She told me Kill Bill, but then some other journalist said Frozen. So, but she also mentioned during the panel that she was very inspired by Akira Kurosawa movies. So that and also like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So you'll see kind of like those vibes happening in this series. Yeah,
I need a trailer ASAP. Because that leads me to believe like eventually some of these people are gonna turn from being Jedi to possibly Sith or be tempted by the dark side. Like, I mean, anytime you go between the era of the Old Republic and the original series, anything goes. So that's exciting. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Bloody
Revenge. Bloody
Revenge. They'll lean into because like when back in the day, I think the Acolyte would do for this generation what the Coder games did for like Star Wars fans back in the day. It was a way to play around and explore the Star Wars universe without having necessarily worry about like the canon, what you just want to happen with like Luke and Anakin and all that type of stuff. And it also brought in a ton of people into the Star Wars universe who may have known about Star Wars but didn't like care. They weren't the ones reading like the Dark Horse comics, but it's like, oh, Knights of the Old Republic, like I can get into that, and that's what you have to this day, like the cult followings of like Darth Nihilus and Revan and all that. It's like another piece of fandom that people can attach to, and like I'm all for calling a spade a spade. The High Republic is just the Old Republic in sexy game skin. That's all that is. But even when they did, I was like, this is just the Old Republic. It's just the artwork is all right. That's fine. The pimp's got a pimp. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at it. And I think the Acolyte will do that though. Like a lot of people who are like, I don't know, sequel trilogy, originals, I don't know, Mandalorian. I think all those people are like, yo, I want to see some like, I want to see lightsabers. I want to see Force use. I want to get into this. I want to reconnect to the spiritual part with the high octane action with that Kill Bill twist. I think this will be where they can come in. They can find people they care about. They know, like you said, anything goes, Sam. So for this, for sure, there's going to be consequences. There is no one who has to necessarily survive. So it's like, oh, we can do some real storytelling. And then who knows what the spinoffs of that will be, whether it's games or animated shows or whatever. But I think it'll do for this era what Coder did so many years ago.
I'm excited for it. I'm just excited for seeing Black women killing it right now. Yep. I can't wait. And also Amanda Stenberg, from what I understand, is like the lead. Like she's the main character. Yeah. So I'm here for that. And Lee Jung Jae is also sort of the lead because he's her Jedi master. And then we've got Jodie Turner-Smith who's killing it. So I'm here for it. I can't wait. We'll see how that pans out. So Sato says that was the problem with Star Wars Celebration, not enough trailers. Yeah, so they did. I will say this. I don't think I'm breaking embargo or anything by saying this. They did show us like a little sizzle reel of the Acolyte. It did look really good. It was very short. So there's a lot of action in it. There's a lot of lightsabers and it did have sort of that, like as someone had described, that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon thing where there's like people flying and kind of like that Matrix sort of moving thing going on. So I'm here for it and I'm excited. But yeah, I kind of wish they had at least like a little teaser trailer or something since they had footage for us there. But maybe they're still, working on that and we'll get something soon since they've got some footage.
And they may not have wanted to like crowd out the Ahsoka hype too. Like they may not want that to necessarily compete.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
especially because August is right around the corner.
Right. Because I mean, I feel like they did release a good amount of trailers because we got another trailer for Dial of Destiny. We got the trailer for Ahsoka. We got a trailer for season 2 of Visions. And then the Young Jedi Adventures. So we got a good amount of trailers there. Everything else hasn't been done yet. So that brings us to our next topic. There's movies that are going to be coming out. And it was announced who is directing them. So this is some really exciting and interesting news. And I'd love to get your honest take on this. So first and foremost, we've got James Mangold. It's James, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So he, of course, right now is doing Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. But he's also going to be directing a Star Wars movie, which is going to be about the emergence of the Force with the first Jedi. And its setting is going to be 25,000 years before the events of the movie trilogies. Then we've got Dave Filoni, who we all know and love, the co-creator of The Mandalorian. And he's doing a theatrical event that's going to tie together the stories of the Disney Plus shows. So that we were talking about that earlier. I was talking to Ryan about that, where I think that my theory is if they're going to end Din Djarin's story, I think it might happen in that film. So, and then we've got, and let me see if I've got her name right. Trying to pronounce her name. She's a new director, Charmin Obaid Chinoy. And she's going to direct a story that's set 15 years after Rise of the Skywalker. And this one got some really good praise from people in the audience because out walks at Star Wars Celebration Daisy Ridley, who's coming back as our Jedi Master. Or she will, she's coming back. I should say that. As Jedi Master, and she's going to be a part of the Jedi Academy and part of the new Jedi Order. So that's going to be Charmin's film. Did I leave anybody off? Okay, and that's Kathleen Kennedy over there, who owns all of the who owns everything, who owns the world. So what are your thoughts about this between what we're seeing with James's film, Dave's film, which is tying together all of the Disney Plus films? Going back to James's film takes place 25,000 years before the Star Wars events take place. Dave's film is tying up all of the Disney Plus shows into a big theatrical event, which curious to see how that's going to work. And then we've got Charmin's film, where we're going to get 15 years before Rise of the Skywalker, and we're bringing back Daisy Ridley as the lead, who's our Jedi Master.
Man, look, bro. If they have James Mangold give me a Knights of the Old Republic, I will literally cry. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I would say if anybody that's a gamer and you know Knights of the Old Republic or anything before that or in between that, like that is precious material that we've always wanted. We've always wanted to kind of see it. And honestly, whether it's PG-13 or rated R, like let him figure out what that vision is. Because I don't want us to deal with Skywalker fatigue. And that was one of the things I was kind of concerned about, where they were going to kind of progress things through. Now, the Dave Filoni news, that's beyond exciting because I've been following Dave since, The Last Airbender. And of course he did, Clone Wars and everything in between that. But like, he's amazing. I'm just curious what his story is going to be. I think that I'm not worried about him as a director. I'm just curious, where is he about to take this? Because I was still on the bridge whether or not they were going to allow Rian Johnson to do his trilogy. That's a whole other thing they didn't talk about. Now, Daisy Ridley coming back. I got one caveat to all that. If you're gonna bring Daisy back, you better gosh darn bring Finn, your boy John Boyega. Regardless if he wants to come back or not, throw him the money, give him a series. Let him be the lead-off series into where she goes, or have him in the movie, or give him his own movie. Because how they did my boy was not right. I'm cool with Daisy really being back as Rey. I didn't like how they kind of ended her character. I think there was a lot more they could have done with her. This may fix that, which will be interesting to see how they progress that, move forward into a future universe. It sucks that she's still a Skywalker. But again, my whole caveat to that is I feel like Finn was given a bad hand, and they gotta do something about that. It's I think that by the time that movie comes out, if we haven't heard anything about Finn getting anything or John Boyega being connected to anything like a series, I don't think the movie is going to hit as hard, because one of the big reasons that The Force Awakens hit as much as it did is two different things. One, our perception based on the trailers that he was going to be Force sensitive or possibly be a Jedi, or both of them were going to be. And then their relationship, her by herself couldn't have worked without him. So I don't know. Maybe I'm talking too much. I'm going to leave it alone.
No. They gave us the okie doke on Finn. They really did. They did. I mean, I'm curious to know too, because John Boyega really has, I don't know, like, is Lucasfilm even going to let him back? Because he's been pretty vocal about, some of the racism and some of the microaggressions and the stuff that he endured while working for them. So are they even going to accept him back? And if they do have Finn, are they just going to do a recast? Because that's what I'm kind of thinking might happen if they do bring back. Because I agree with you, Sam. I think Finn needs a proper story here. He needs a proper arc, because they did him wrong. But will they recast Finn? Because I'm just wondering if, with everything between John feeling the way he feels, and he has every right to feel that way, and then the way he sort of like put Disney out in the paint, like, is that really going to happen again? So I don't know. I have more stuff to add, but I'll throw it to you guys.
Go ahead, Josh. You guys are more the professional than I am on the away. I'll do my. You know what? I'll just say real quick. I think for me, the film side, the newer films, need a lot of stuff added to them, because it was always some criticism. I felt like if each one of those hit the theaters, it was always like, whether it was casting, people that feel the story brought out a lot. So I think they got a lot to prove with these three films coming out. Because like I said earlier, Mandalorian was what pulled me in, and they got Dave Filoni in there. I know Charmaine did Miss Marvel. She has that kind of credit tied to her. So maybe they bring in the heavy hitters, because they got a plan this time. So hopefully they just get the casting right, and they bring in the right stories and do it up for the films, because the films, in my opinion, have been like suffered. It's been like the Disney Plus TV side, So I'm hoping they got the heavy hitters to bring them in. But, let me change it over to the expert that is Josh. Take it away, Josh.
When Jamie emailed me, I told her I promised I would try to not be too snarky. That's what I'm attempting to do right now. The James Mangold film, I have two separate feelings about that. One is immediate fear, because of it makes me think of Korra, which we don't need to have that discussion right now, but just the whole way they handled the spiritual aspect of what it meant to be like the Avatar, and they kind of just like made it nothing. Like they made it, they said they were doing something, but like the spirituality of Avatar is like, no, what if we just break it open and none of this matters? I was like, okay, well, this is not good. And so I don't want it to be trivialized like that. That's kind of what makes me nervous. And there's been a notable lack of spirituality in Star Wars since the acquisition. And I think that's just because they don't do that in their films really anywhere. Like, if you're trying to crank out a product, you're not like, well, what are the themes that tie back to Sanskrit culture? Like I was listening to an interview today, in the Phantom Menace, which is not the best Star Wars film, but the fact that John Williams, because he understood the spiritual aspect, the choir singing Sanskrit words, and Sanskrit is regarded as one of the oldest, most spiritual languages in the world. So I'm just like that kind of care. So that's my concern. On the other hand, I think it could be good, but I think you do have to lean into like, okay, if you're talking about how this is the first cat to discover like the Force in like the Jedi way, like that is a deep spiritual journey. And then Kyber crystals, like you gotta really, this is not one of those things where you can like be like, yeah, I didn't watch Clone Wars. You have to have watched everything. You need to read through the expanded universe. You need to know inside and out what you're dealing with if you're going to do a foundation for something so big. So that's my concern. I'll end with the Dave Filoni one because that's the thing I'm most excited about. Because it was 4, right? It's the Mangold one, Daisy Ridley, Dave's. Was there one more, or was it just the 3?
It's just the 3.
Oh, I'm tripping. Oh, you know what? I was thinking Taika Waititi because he also has a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that got axed.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
Oh, the Lord has heard my cry.
And that's probably a good thing given what happened with Love and Thunder. So, and I love Taika. He's so nice. I've met him a couple of times. He's a great guy, but I'm sorry. Love and Thunder.
Y'all didn't like the ghost? Come on now, y'all like the screamer? What's wrong with y'all?
I'm just saying, like, if Love and Thunder, if him directing a Star Wars film is anything like what he did with Love and Thunder, y'all can have that. I'm sorry. Anyway, go on. Ragnarok was great. He's great as someone doing because he wrote Ragnarok, right? He was the writer for that.
Yeah.
So writing, great. Directing.
Yeah. Did he also write or co-write Love and Thunder as well? He
did both, actually.
Yeah. So my thing with Taika, I think he is someone who needs a no man. He needs someone to be like, all right, dude, this is too much. Like, you got to cut this down. We done lost everything. All right, so cool. That means I'll be at church this Sunday paying my tithes. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. So the Daisy. So I had no problem with Daisy as a lead. I agree with Sam. I think the Rey Finn dynamic is what made. I mean, to the extent that we could say anything in the sequel set of 3 films worked, I think they needed each other. They were definitely they came as like a pair for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, brother. I don't think they're gonna throw Boyega the amount of money it would take to bring him back, and then I don't know if I think they're too sensitive because if they throw Boyega a bunch of money and Boyega comes back, the entire Black community will be like, "Hey, we got this W. Disney suck." I don't think they're ready for that.
So this is my only interjection with this, because if they recast him, we will be pissed. If they recast him,
lose.
Like either because that's why I said that them bringing Daisy back, immediately people are gonna start thinking about Finn. Yeah. Even I think somebody brought it up in the comments. There was a Christmas special that showed that Finn is Force sensitive, that he was in line to start to train to be a Jedi. So I was like, if you're going to have her be a Jedi Master, he's going to be there. You can't just kill him off. It's not going to be like an Independence Day 2 situation. So, and I hate to say that. But I'm just saying that if they recast him and bring him back, that's going to be a cop-out. People are not going to accept that.
It's going to get a lot of backlash, yeah.
Right. If they throw him money, and they give him possibly an opportunity to be back in this character and maybe give him a series, I think that he'll go with it. And I think that people will let it go because they know for a fact he needed that kind of redemption. Yes, us as people are going to be like, yeah, but realistically, nobody can say that Finn wasn't done dirty. I don't care if they're Black or not. Like, that his character was done dirty. I never forget when the first movie came out and Kylo Ren was looking at this soldier and was like, there's something off about him. And I immediately was like, okay, this was written for a specific reason. And they never did anything with it, even down to the last second. So yeah, I just think it's going to be worse if they recast him. And I don't think
Yeah.
if they're gonna bring Daisy back, they have to address him, and they can't just kill him off.
Have to. Absolutely.
So I'm gonna leave it at that.
That'll be worse. That'll be worse if they kill him off because he's a fan favorite, and he's definitely a fan favorite among the blurred community. So that would be bad. So I gotta ask a bit of a controversial question. Do you think that Rey as a standalone is going to be able to hold up this film and get the kind of fan support that this film is hoping to get? Or does she definitely need to have, whether it's a Finn or another character, to help have that sort of duo relationship that she had starting in Force Awakens?
I think, and I hate to say it. I think it will do close enough to what they want, because they've already set it up with a series of like escape doors. So it's like it's 15 years into the future. That kills the whole OP conversation because they're gonna say she's been training and doing stuff for 15 years. She's established, she's powerful. The fact that she's the Jedi Master. If they decide to say, oh, she went to this planet to study, or she was like secluded, she wasn't in contact with Finn, she doesn't know where he is, or she's trying to find him, he must have disappeared himself from the Force. Like, they've set themselves up to kind of like show that she could be on her own, and then I think they'll do the Padawan thing, and so whatever the playoff will be is like she's now the sacred character and blah blah blah. And I'm betting there will be at least one Mark Hamill cameo to appease the fans and kind of distract them from everything else. We're like, oh,
when in doubt, bring in Mark Hamill.
basically, because Harrison Ford is like, yeah, y'all can bring me in, but it's gonna cost you a bucket every time. So yeah, and I think when they do that, paying attention to what's happening, Mark Hamill's cameo will be like, it'll be the Luke Skywalker that we actually know, and so then him giving advice and talking about his father, or whatever, would be like, it'll be joyful and uplifting, which is what Luke Skywalker is. And so I think those things will kind of be like, okay, Daisy, I have no problem with Daisy, but I think that'll kind of be like, okay, this movie is solid.
The only thing that I think
that ain't what he said.
The only thing I think that could hold it back is that she's Rey Skywalker. I think if they really keep that, then that will kill the film. If I were them, well, I would have never made this film. I was hoping they would use y'all haven't seen Rebels, but like there's like the portal world to kind of bypass this timeline and be like, yeah, that happened in a different timeline, but we stepped out into a different reality where Reylo and all that stuff never happened. But if I was forced to make this movie work, I would open it with her actually discovering her true heritage and taking her own name back. Like, I would set the tone with that. It starts with me, Jedi Master Rey, taking my name back. Thank you for the honor of Skywalker, Mr. Force Ghost. But I found my own identity on my own, and then you kind of set it right there and then go forward from there. But again, I don't know if that's what they're gonna do. So, but yeah, I think there's a higher chance, and I hate to say it, I think there's a higher chance of it standing on its own. Also because of, I think, and then I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm also thinking of the time thing. I'm thinking of the time thing. So when, God rest his soul, when Chadwick died, they immediately said, we're not recasting. And I was like, that's a mistake, because in 2 to 3 years, once we've all grieved, we're going to come back to wanting the Black Panther again. And sure enough, that's what happened. And people are like, oh, who's the new? Oh. And no knocks against like Letitia, but I'm just like, they should have done the most secret recasting of all time, anticipating that once the grieving happens, like, more or less, we're going to want to pick back up where we left off. And so I think with the time thing, by the time this movie gets made, no one's really going to be checking for Boyega in Star Wars. You know what I mean? All the backlash with The Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi, like, this movie's 3 to 4 years away easily. I don't think they started filming.
No.
So I think by the time that hits, it's like, everything that's in the zeitgeist right now will have faded. We'll have, Mandalorian, all this other stuff. People have good taste of Star Wars in their mouth, and they'll be ready for the cinematic experience. And then boom, here comes the Rey movie to give us that thing that we've been wanting since 2005.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think people are still going to expect John Boyega just because those films still resonate with fans. Those films, we can go and fire up our Disney Plus app right now. Like right now, when you go to Disney Plus, you see May the 4th be with you. And then it's got an onslaught of all of the films that you can watch, whether you want to watch them in order of the Star Wars timeline or what have you. And people know John Boyega, and, it permeates through everything that we know of the Star Wars universe. So 3 to 4 years, first of all, really isn't that long. So I don't think people are going to forget that he's a part of this universe, and that especially us as blurs, that we really love who Finn is and what he represents. So I don't know. I don't think that, we're going to be like, oh, so they're going to just forget about Finn and like it's going to be something that we'll be okay with. I think there's going to be huge backlash. People are going to be upset. It may be a hashtag movement behind it if Twitter's still around. Now that I don't know. But yeah, John Boyega is still going to be loved by fans 4 years from now when the film comes out, if it's that long.
So
I definitely feel that. I think I was thinking more so like the global Star Wars community, but I think for sure the Black community will. If there's one thing we're good at, it's keeping receipts.
Yes.
So I definitely agree with that. They could not release another film for 10 years, and we'll still be like, but you did our boy wrong. What is up with that?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think the sad thing is it's like generations of, Black presence in Star Wars that we think about. Billy D.
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
And John Boyega. And it's kind of like Billy D, I mean, we love him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the OG. Samuel Jackson, they still talking about how they did him dirty. And he's still trying to find a way to get in. And then when you think about John Boyega, it's like everybody, I don't know anybody that does remember that first trailer and even the very last moment. The fact that he was going back and forth with Kylo Ren with the lightsaber. There's something about seeing a young Black man, right, holding the lightsaber, not having any training whatsoever, supposed to be a trash man stormtrooper, and in the cut doing certain things, even though they didn't give him his proper due. It's just too much icon. It's an iconic moment. That's the best way I can kind of put it. And I think because that transition to trauma for us, we're never going to forget it. So it's like when you think about Daisy Ridley, a lot of people still are kind of like, oh, she's, what do they call her, Mary Sue? Like she got her power too easily. And I wasn't on that bandwagon. I really didn't care because truth be told, if you look at Anakin, like he was natural. I always looked at her like there's a parallel between her and Anakin. Like they were just naturally gifted. I don't know where they even came from. I don't even know how they got where they got, which made her backstory so much more interesting, which they never really addressed. And I do think with time, they're not going to look at her as a Mary Sue anymore. I think that there's things that they can do with it. The problem that I have with it is two different things. And it didn't have anything to do with John Boyega. It's more so like, who is she training up and what are they doing? And what is the opposition? Like, what is the point of a Jedi in the future?
Yeah.
And what is the need to protect? So like who is as powerful or more powerful than her? What does that look like? Is there still a resistance? Is there a oppressive force? Have all the gray Jedi now become like different and jaded and just not any presence of what the Jedi culture was? Is there a spiritual element to it? Like that element is kind of going to be the big make or break, honestly, when it comes to her as a character. Because if it's like, oh, okay, she's training new Jedi, why? And what is the opposition to that? Like, is it Seth? Or is it something else? Is it other people professing to be Jedi and having different ideals about what a Jedi is supposed to do? Like, those are things that they're gonna have to find out. Like, that's got to be written perfectly, and then you kind of figure out the whole John Boyega thing. Like, that's just the icing on the cake. But foundationally, if they don't make this make sense, it's gonna be a Last Jedi situation all over again. And I shouldn't have said that, but.
I've been battling people on Twitter about The Last Jedi all day. It's been great.
Soto Soa brings up a good point. I don't know if Soto's a he or she, but they say, I hear you, but we watched Anakin from kid to adult and training. Good point.
And Anakin lost more fights than he won at every step of the game.
But that's the reason, and it's unfortunate, and I feel bad for Daisy Ridley, because if you go on YouTube, which is a dumpster fire, I don't know what's worse, Twitter or YouTube, and you type in, Rey Skywalker, or like they call her Rey Palpatine, like there's so many negative videos towards her character, and I think it has to do with the bad writing. Like, she was so underdeveloped as a character, and like you said, Samuel, that's why she was referred to as a Mary Sue, because we didn't get to see the development in Rey that we got to see it with Anakin. I mean, damn, Anakin had 3 movies. And of course Anakin is a very prominent character in the Star Wars universe, but I just feel like we didn't get to see Rey become the Jedi that she is supposed to be. And I hope that this movie, since she's a Jedi Master, will give her that character development, because otherwise people are just going to go after her. And it's very unfair, because it's not her, the character. It's not her, the actor. It really has to do with underdeveloped writing, which unfortunately those films did, and they did that wrong with Finn.
Yeah.
So I wanted to speak quickly to Dave Filoni's film. I'm concerned about that. I love Dave Filoni. He was really sweet when I got a chance to interview him at Star Wars Celebration. I'm very curious to see how he's going to tie all of these Disney Plus movies together as this big theatrical event. Where are we starting in the timeline? But also speaking to what we've been saying about these Black characters, from Billy Dee's character to Samuel Jackson's character to now John Boyega's. I would love to see Ahmed Best get his just due in the film universe. Like, we got a chance to see Kelleran Beck have this really great arc in The Mandalorian, and I would love to see that just fully fleshed out and have really his own storyline, which I think in the expanded universe, like in the books, there's a lot of story there. There's a lot of lore behind his character. I'd love to see that in the film universe, because I don't know, it seems like the Black characters aren't really getting their just due in the Star Wars film universe. So also Ahmed Best deserves that, given the history of Jar Jar Binks and what he's gone through. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to it. I think my question actually with Filoni's movie is the same as, close to what Sam was saying. Just like, okay, what is the point of this movie? Like, obviously it's to tie it all together, but like, big picture, like what is the end of this going to be? And also, is it going to be a true Filoni product? Because Filoni and Favreau have wildly different aesthetics. And
I don't think Favreau is a part of this one. You talking about the film?
Yeah.
It's just Filoni.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do, Dave, I don't think he's really missed yet. And even, I know you guys haven't seen all the Clone Wars, but the last 4 episodes of season 7 were purely cinematic, and that was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so if he can come anywhere close to that, and he's got a lot of really cool characters to play with, I think it could be really, really good. Especially because you don't have like the episodic thing where it's like, okay, you guys are over there, you guys are over there. It's like, no, everyone's here kind of like doing like a central thing, and you can kind of like mix and match it at will. Some I don't know if I think it's gonna be good, but I'm the most hopeful.
Well, he's a great. You're right. I mean, I haven't seen all of Clone Wars and Rebels, but I've seen I've seen Tales of the Jedi, and I've seen part of Clone Wars, and I've his work as a director is good. He's a really great storyteller. I feel like probably the challenge for him is going from animation to live action, because this is his first time as a live action director. So I don't know if that's gonna hinder him in some ways, or maybe it'll make him a better director. Who knows? So, but aside from him not having experience as a live action director, he's an incredible storyteller. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. And by the way, Kaz Dragon said Third Sister was great. Yes, shout outs to Moses Ingram and Obi-Wan. I'd love to see Moses.
Yeah, I want that'll come
in Dave
back.
Filoni's movie. Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Oh.
Just to piss some people off, I'm here for it.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
just do it.
She got so much hate too. Yeah, that was another actor.
Does Apollo Creed, does Carl Weathers, does that count? Or was he another one that got kind of not as much? Does that count in The Mandalorian?
Oh, Carl Weathers' character?
Yeah.
He didn't really get any hate.
Nah, I think he's Carl Weathers. I don't think anybody would. Like that's good. Just like Samuel Jackson don't really get like. I feel like after a certain level of black man, you're just like, you know what, guys, that's who that is.
Yeah. I mean, as
did he get his like just due? Because they're doing a lot of these characters kind of sketchy. So I'm like, did he get his? Do you feel like he got his just due with the Mandalorian, and they need to do more of that?
I feel like it. I mean, I think to Jamie's point, so I think Carl Weathers did get his just due, but I think that's also because the character that he was given pretty solid writing. Going back to Jamie's point, I think that's kind of like the underbelly of all this, which like I've been concerned about this for years, because I'm like, when you put women out front and people of color out front of a bad product, the public is going to say it's because of the woman or it's because of the person of color, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm like, there's a whole pipeline of execs and writers and showrunners who are like, this is the thing we want to make. And they're just focused on like, hey, well, we have someone out front. It's like, no, but if the writing is not good, it's as we're seeing with the strike right now, you have no writers, you have no product, first of all. And you have bad
that's gonna be interesting.
Writing. Yeah, you got bad product.
That may delay some things with the production of these films.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yep, the actors ain't got to say without the writers.
Literally nothing. You have nothing to sell. Without the writers. So you just pay these people, give them insurance, and like let them do what they do.
Yeah.
And to Kaz Dragon, shout out to Shantae. She's a early childhood friend of mine. Thanks for joining us on the stream. So thank you so much, Shantae. And Soto says can't hate on Creed. No, we ain't gonna hate on Apollo Creed because he's gonna kick some butt.
That's what I'm talking about.
Gonna kick some butt.
I just wanted to give him like a half of a point. I mean, they got work to do when it comes to the black characters, but I was gonna give him a half a point.
Yeah.
I feel like. Do you feel like they treat the black characters on the TV shows better than the films?
Oh.
Or is it kind of even? Love you too, cuz.
I think the TV shows treat the characters better than the films have. I just think the toxicity of the internet, overshadows like the progression of how they treated some of them on television. Like it's just, I mean, that whole Moses situation was ridiculous. That the fact that the cast had to go and speak up. But I think that they've been written decently. They haven't been like thrown under the bus, so to speak. But I don't know. I haven't seen one in a lead role capacity just yet. So that's
we got the Acolyte.
Right. So they got a chance.
And there's already hate videos on YouTube, boy. They're already coming after the Acolyte.
So what is the hate exactly? Can we talk about that?
Right.
They don't like the showrunner. She's female. She's a lesbian. God forbid. She apparently
storytelling.
Yeah. I'm not going to name these YouTubers because I don't want to give them any publicity. But
Right.
I like to watch them because I want to hear what the critical fan base has to say about some of these franchises. And they were saying that apparently she used to work for Harvey Weinstein and she didn't speak up. Just some really outlandish stuff to smear her and make her seem like she's not fit to take on this show. They really didn't talk about the integrity of the show. They really were more slandering the showrunner, which I think she's done some pretty reputable television and shows throughout her career. I can't pull it up right this second, but yeah, God forbid that you have a woman of color, female-centered show, and they were criticizing that it's a mixture of, because there was a sentiment of it being a cross between Frozen and Kill Bill, and they were clowning on that statement.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's silly, it's stupid, but it's something I've come to expect, especially in the Star Wars universe, because people got so mad about Obi-Wan and Third Sister, and I'm like, oh, so you're mad because she's actually playing a very prominent role in this story, and and then Obi-Wan kind of a little bit became a bit of a passenger in his own story, sort of, and I think people weren't expecting that. So yeah, there's a lot of white male tears.
Yeah, I think that's a hard question to answer about who's been, like, have Black people been treated better in films or TV? Difficult for me because I think that, well, there's so few that is just like, well, yeah, there's the one. There's the one or two. But I also think we're dealing with kind of like a differentiation on how casting is done. So, like, you have the original trilogy. They didn't just hire anyone. They hired Billy Dee at the peak of his powers and belovedness. In the prequel trilogy, they didn't hire just anyone. They got Samuel L. Jackson. You know what I mean? So these are people who have, like, Titanic followings, who you would look stupid slandering on the internet. And so then we transition, and now we're starting to hire, people who don't have as big a resume, who aren't as big in the cinematic landscape. So you get like no less talented, but you're like an Ingram. Nobody, broad terms, obviously, no one cares about her in that sense. She's young, she's up and coming, she's doing her thing, and she was great in the show, but she's not. For example, I don't think Reva gets all that hate if she was played by Viola Davis. I don't think that happens. I mean, there will be some, because there's always outliers.
Yeah.
Where's Viola Davis?
Yeah, and they were saying that she couldn't act and stuff, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, she went to...
Were they watching the show?
Yeah, she went to one of the most prestigious acting schools there is. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
I think there is that kind of like element too, of like when you're not hiring people at the top of their game, at the peak of their powers, who are of color, then you kind of have to deal, unfortunately, with this other side where, non or melanin voidant people, as I like to call them, they don't have to deal with that. You can be completely green, unknown, and all the way celebrated, whether the performance was good or not.
The only person I don't think got any hate was Donald Glover in Solo. Like, nobody really, but that's because he played an established Black character that we've all known and loved.
Yeah. He also has a long history, though. Remember, Donald Glover's fan base is wide between Community and his rap career. Like, he's kind of become beloved. So he also had like his own thing to fall back on. Like, I don't know anyone they've hired of color who has Glover's like extensive background. And I mean, Spider-Man, like, he's got his claws deep across different levels of fandom in a way that, Ingram and a few other people just do not. And then, it's also like it's Donald Glover. He's starting to have his like salt and pepper era, and it's like he's crossing over. He's crossing over.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, we are almost, we're like an hour and 40 in. So, wow, we've been going for quite a while. Do you guys have any final thoughts? What are you looking forward to? TV, film, events in the future, anything Star Wars related? What are you most excited about that's coming up?
So, question: the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron, that was officially canceled, right? Or did it get put on the back burner? Okay,
that got axed as well.
Ryan Johnson's trilogy, is that just in the back burner, or did they axe it officially?
The Ryan Johnson project, that one I'm not sure about, because I know they axed Patty Jenkins one and Taika's. I want to say Ryan's as well, because that's what Star Wars Celebration was about, was announcing the new films with the directors, and that's who we have.
Yeah,
those are the films.
Only reason why I say that is because as much as The Last Jedi is a very controversial Star Wars film, I don't disparage that it was a good film. I do think it was actually a really good film. It just wasn't necessarily a Star Wars film. And so I was curious where he was going to take his approach to a trilogy that's outside of the Skywalkers. I really was very curious because he's a great director. Regardless of how you feel about how he writes stuff or the way he takes characters that you love, like The Last Jedi was a fundamentally great film. Like there's shots in that film that we've never had in Star Wars before. And so I was kind of like, I want to see his trilogy. I really actually do want to see it. And I think that, I mean, again, I already said it before. I really want to see A Knights of the Old Republic. I was hoping that was going to be like a series. I thought that would have been the perfect series because you could kind of chronicle that time frame. But yeah, I mean, anything that's not in, the regular universe that we're known of, I want to go deep into the past or into the future and just kind of see where they kind of take it, to be honest with you. So. Oh, did we talk about Visions, by the way? Did y'all talk about season 2?
Yeah, you weren't here, but please tell us what you thought. I saw the first 2 episodes. I love that very first one. It was gorgeous. The animation was beautiful. But yeah, let us know what you thought.
So the first season, there was some bangers in there. I thought it had some really good episodes here and there. This season, every single episode progressively, I thought the stories were great. Like it was not just like visually immersive. Like I was engaged. I was kind of like, I got to the 3rd episode. I was like, are they gonna hit the hat trick? They did, and then it went back and forth, back to all the way to the end. And I was like, man, this is some of these stories they could take and make series off of those, or make movies off of them. And like Vision season 2. If you guys don't know, go and watch it. I promise you are not gonna, regardless if you're an animated fan or if you're a fan of Star Wars, they take these stories to levels that I'd always hoped the Star Wars has ever gone to. So yeah, that was phenomenal. I love it.
I just realized something we didn't even bring up because you had mentioned how Visions, each episode seems like it could be its own film or its own show. Episode 2 gave me vibes for Star Wars Skeleton Crew, because it was like all of these kids that were kind of together. And Skeleton Crew is something that we haven't talked about, but that's another new show that's sort of kind of like this Stranger Things sort of vibe that's going on, and it stars Jude Law. The rest of the cast are just a bunch of kids. There are a lot of newcomers. John Watts is the creator, and Christopher Ford. So that is going to be coming out sometime this year. I don't have the exact date on me, but it is coming out in 2023, I believe. But if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me on that. There is a trailer that came out of Star Wars Celebration for Skeleton Crew.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that one missed me. Okay, I gotta go find that.
Yeah, I gotta look that up too. I did not
know. So you can catch that one, and that's another Disney Plus show to be on the lookout. It's in the same time frame as The Mandalorian, and it's interconnected with the spinoffs after the events of Return of the Jedi.
Oh, that's awesome. I am all the way there for that.
Yeah.
That up. Sounds like is it like a fun riff off of Star Wars 1313, or is that like a bit of a stretch?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask, but I'm gonna not geek out over that.
Yeah, because I'm like, I know 1313 is like a deep cut, so I'm just like, I don't know.
Ooh, I don't know the answer to that because I didn't see it.
Star Wars 1313 was a massive game that was in development at the time of acquisition.
Yep.
And Disney bought it and like killed it, but it was like their relaunch into the game space, because it wasn't about like lightsabers and stuff. You were descending into level 1313 of Coruscant, and it was you and this crew, and you're shooting and fighting and running and stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe it's like a fun riff on that. But yeah, I think you can still find gameplay trailers for 1313, but yeah, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, we were talking about that very briefly, Ryan and I, about the video games. Any video game recommendations?
Yeah, because they're on discount for May the 4th. So give it if you guys got recommendations.
Oh, for new ones?
Jedi. Oh my gosh.
I know Survivor's out.
Yeah, I was gonna say
right.
If you played Survivor. I'm sorry. What's the beginning one? The one before Survivor?
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. I would recommend getting both of those. I haven't played Survivor yet, but Fallen Order was amazing. I actually was hoping they were going to announce like a Force Unleashed. If you've never played Force Unleashed, that was like a great story of the Star Killer. Definitely go and check that out. If they have somewhere, I guess maybe both consoles should have it, like in their old gen stuff. Definitely the Knights of the Old Republic 1, Knights of the Old Republic 2, Battlefield. There's a lot of great games to play. I mean, even Lego Star Wars technically, I'll throw that shameless plug in there. But yeah, for current, then yeah, the Fallen Order and Survivor. Yeah. But go ahead. You might have some more, Josh.
No, you hit all the. I feel like everything is either those or like the old school ones. Like if you can get your hands on the old school, like Battlefront 2, like it's a wildly different experience. We'll break that out to this day and play it just because it's fun. But yeah, The Force Unleashed. If you can weather like somewhat seasoned graphics, Force Unleashed walked, ran, and flew. So Jedi Fallen Order could fly. It's the exact everything.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all I have for games. Yeah, either those or like the old ones. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. I'm like, what happened?
Jamie said, "I'm going to buy some games," and I'm out.
I know. I'm like, I'm going to play these games. My friends got Survivor. Haven't heard from them since. All right, I'm getting Survivor.
Nice.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. Fallen Order, Survivor, and then all the old school stuff. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Star Wars Visions. Like I've been looking forward to that since it was announced. Like I'm just a fan of the whole concept. So yeah, looking forward to that. Kind of looking forward to like what's the little kid one? Whatever the little kid one is.
Oh, Young Jedi Adventures.
Yeah, just because there's always been something extremely goofy in the Star Wars atmosphere for like the littles. And I'm a teacher. I teach elementary school, so I'm always trying to keep an eye on like, okay, what is safe to put on at times at Star Wars? I don't have to worry about getting an email from a mom saying, "Oh, baby, you got scared." Blah, blah, blah. So
that lightsaber will get you,
man. So I'm looking forward to that, and then the Ahsoka show. That's really I tried to like measure things out, but that might be a binge weekend. I might just have to watch. If they do a whole season drop, I might have to do that whole thing in a weekend. I'm hoping they don't. I hope they do like a week-to-week thing. I think that's better. But yeah, either way, I'm all in for Ahsoka. And then Celebration 2025. I was like, oh, y'all ain't coming back to the States. Y'all gonna make me go to Japan. That's fine. I just got my passport, my renewed one, a month ago. Start saving now. So everything goes well, I'll be in Japan 2025 for celebration. So I'm looking for that. It'll be my first time in Japan too. So I'll be.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'll try to make
crossed.
it. I'll try to make it some kind of way.
I've never been to Japan, so I'm hoping I can go out there myself.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. If we all make it out there, we have to do like a brief live thing with all of us, like in the flesh, in the same.
Yes.
I'm with it.
Absolutely. Oh, that would be dope. Cool. Ryan, did you say what you wanted to see?
Oh, I'm Ahsoka all day. Rosario Dawson all day. I cannot wait. I think she's gonna kill it. I'm so excited. Anytime we get, like Josh said, you could count them on like one hand. The black people that is just like making a move in this universe in Star Wars. So, girl, let's get it. The more that they do and bring up the crowd, then they're gonna be like, oh, they can bring in these viewers. Yes, we can. So,
Right.
you know, I'm excited to see them do that. So that's gonna be dope. Yeah, and anything Mandalorian, I'm here for. Like, I hope they tie it up nicely, whatever they want to do with the story, because I like how season 3 really brought in like the different tribes of the Mandalore. And so I want that to continue. I hope that's not just like a little drop here because they got so much that they're working on. I hope they figure out how to end that right. And, you know, the daddy status of Pedro will keep going. So we need him to do some, you know, we need him to finish it out.
Pedro tired.
Yeah, he was so happy to get that phone call. You know that. They're like, yo, Pedro, you ain't got to come into work no more. He was like, thank God.
Thank goodness, man. This suit is heavy. I got to be putting it on my face all day long. My face be sweaty.
Oh, y'all remember like how bad, like did the helmet sink and it'd be like a whole bunch of sweat that they have to wear? I was wondering about that because he never like he rarely this season got to take it off.
Yeah, he didn't even take it off this season. I don't think.
Because he couldn't like. So I wonder like how annoying that is. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah. So after he gets a rest, you know, let his face breathe a little bit, then let him come back and finish out the story.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys have any theories about Din Djarin that this is the end of his journey, that they're going to kill him off? I think he's going to die in the movie, but what do you guys think?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't even know. I think my question is, where does Grogu go? Where does he fit into all this? Like, I don't, unless he's in hiding or something like that, it's not going to make any sense, to be honest with you.
I'm thinking Bo-Katan is probably going to maybe be the new babysitter. You think?
I don't know. My thing is like, it would be easier to call if it wasn't Disney behind the scene. And I'm like, I can't really say that they're going to kill one of the most bankable properties. Like, I don't think they'll do that. I think, you know, if anything, it would be like, you know, he goes, I don't know, to Mandalore and is like the king of Mandalore. He's going to establish a new colony far off and away that's going to take him off screen until we need him back in 5 years for the camp going to break, you know, streaming records. Yeah, I think there's a higher chance of them, which just sucks, re-killing Boba Fett than there is of them killing Din. Because like they don't really need Boba Fett. His show didn't do particularly well. Like no one really is talking about Boba Fett. No one really cares.
Right.
So like, you know, they might kill. But then it just gets weird because like again, like what's happening with Grogu? We have introduced the Luke Skywalker factor as an active presence in the universe at this time. So it's like what? It's almost too many big pieces. And I'm like, okay, you can't kill Luke, because you got a canon to preserve. So Luke's not going to die. Grogu's not going to die. Are you going to kill Pedro Pascal? I don't know. Also thinking about the overlap because from The Last of Us. So like, do they went back to back? He dies in The Last of Us season 2, and then he dies in Star Wars. Like, do they really want to do that? I don't know. I don't know. So yeah. You
just dropped a major spoiler, bro.
Oh, I assume everyone knows from like the game.
Not everybody knows that. Oh. Not everybody.
Wait, what did he say? I totally lost it. What did he say?
I didn't say nothing. Apparently, I didn't say nothing.
Samuel already knows, though. He already knows.
But even outside of that, I'm just like, you know, I don't see them killing him because he's so bankable. Everyone loves him
for real,
and the character.
He is. I mean, I don't know if they'll kill him off, but I do think that Din's story has come to an end. I don't think there's anything more to tell of his story.
Mhm.
And even, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there's, at this point, they're going to, I am curious to see where they're going to bring Grogu. Because really, Grogu, his whole relationship is around Din. So what are they going to do with him? But Bo-Katan plays a big role as well now with everything that's happened in season 3. So that's why I'm like, probably Dave is going to do something with this theatrical event where he's going to tie all of these stories together and find a way to end them properly in the movie as opposed to the show. And that goes into what my most anticipated thing is. I'm looking forward to Dave Filoni's movie. I think it's going to be brilliant because he's a great director. I'm looking forward to Ahsoka because Rosario was kicking ass and taking names in The Mandalorian, and I think she's going to do the same thing in her TV series. And I'm looking forward to The Acolyte. I don't know much about this universe. I don't know much about even the folks that are really behind it and where the story is going to go, but just seeing from the little bit of the sizzle reel that they showed at Star Wars Celebration, and then just this cast, I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring into the Star Wars universe. So really excited for that show. So yeah. Soda said, I didn't hear it. Great.
Yeah,
Good. Hopefully nobody else heard it. all good. Well then, did I get to everybody? Did I skip anyone for what you guys are looking forward to? Star Wars.
You got us all.
Got us over. Okay, cool. All right, great. Then we're in 2 hours in at this point, so I am going to wrap us up. Thank you guys so much for listening in. I see that many of you have been on the stream with us for the full 2 hours. So I appreciate you guys for sticking with us throughout this stream and celebrating May the 4th with us. And tonight, fire up that Disney app and watch. And I'm not being endorsed by Disney, by the way. These are good shows. Star Wars Visions is good. Young Jedi Adventures is a little too young for me. So it didn't really resonate with me. You weren't here, Josh, when we were talking about it, but I was like, well, a little too young, a little too juvenile for me, but it's cute. But watch Star Wars Visions season 2 because it was absolutely amazing. And we don't have too far along to go with Ahsoka. It comes out in a couple of months, or 3 months, August. Yeah, we don't have too far along to go on that.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. And Skeleton Key comes out this year, but I don't think we have a date yet, but it does come out this year. I did double check on the internets about that one. So yeah, good stuff. Cool. Any final thoughts before we go? No?
May the 4th be with you.
There we go.
Star Wars Day.
Take care, guys.